Episode 20 – Why Social Credit is Not Capitalism. It is often assumed that if some economic theory does not qualify as a form of socialism, then it must be a form of capitalism. But what if this isn't true? As a matter of fact, social credit, while not socialistic, is not capitalist either. In order to better understand why social credit is not a form of capitalism, let us revisit the conventional economic spectrum. According to that false paradigm, there are only three basic economic systems. If laissez-faire capitalism occupies the extreme right of the spectrum, and Marxist socialism its opposite, the extreme left, the middle is characterized by mixed economies of one type or another. We have already established that social credit is not socialism, but why is it not a form of capitalism? For our purposes, capitalism may be defined as any economic system which separates the ownership of productive assets from work in such a way that only a relatively few people, i.e. the capitalists, get to own productive property, while the majority of others are left with no alternative but to sell their labor to the capitalists, as it is their only or main method of obtaining the means of subsistence. The result is monopoly. A few people get to own and profit from productive resources. Just as socialism enforces or tends to a public monopoly over productive property, capitalism tends to monopoly as well, but in the direction of a private monopoly. The conventional mixed economy merely combines various aspects of this monopolistic public-private dichotomy. Social credit, by contrast, stands against all forms of monopoly, whether private or public, on principle. It says that all persons as individuals should possess some minimum form of ownership in productive property. It therefore stands outside and above the conventional spectrum and occupies the radical center. Broadly speaking, it may be classified as a form of distributism. But what is it about capitalism, especially in its laissez-faire form, which induces this tendency toward concentrated private ownership and gross economic inequalities? The answer lies in the fact that capitalism is based on unlimited free markets, unbridled individualism, cutthroat competition, as well as unrestrained profit and indeed rent-seeking behavior. Social credit, by contrast, recognizes that the public authority has the right and the duty to intervene in economic life to help ensure the fulfillment of the true purpose of economic association, the delivery of the goods and services people need to survive and flourish, with the least amount of labor and resource consumption. More specifically, social credit is opposed to the notion that the purpose of the economy is money-making. It recognizes that an economic system should not allow anyone to use money to make money without contributing something of equivalent value to the flow of goods and services, and that businesses should be rewarded only to the extent that they genuinely contribute to the common good. It is also opposed to what Douglas referred to as the financial perversion of the law of supply and demand, or the idea that the price of an item that can be produced in a functionally unlimited supply should be what it will fetch on the open market. This is negated by the profit regulation condition on retail goods and services, which could be included as part of the compensated price mechanism. In opposition to capitalism, social credit stands for genuine free enterprise, i.e., personal initiative, private property, free markets, and the profit motive, provided that any such perfectly competitive market, grounded on a widespread distribution of privately owned productive property, can be harnessed in the service of the common good. It is, above all, an honest and functional financial system which, by enfranchising every individual with his due claim on consumer purchasing power, makes that proper orientation possible. This animated series was sponsored by the Clifford Hugh Douglas Institute for the Study and Promotion of Social Credit. For more information on Douglas Social Credit, please visit socred.org or socialcredit.com.au. Be sure to like this video and please subscribe to our channel.